We are just under a month away from the 2019 World Junior Championship Tournament getting underway this year in Vancouver, Victoria, BC. Today we're going to do an early preview of this tournament. We're going to go through all the teams that are participating, look at the grouping action to see what they're going to be playing for schedules, and also take a look at some of the more notable players you can expect in this year's tournament. We'll discuss all that coming up next. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. We review and discuss all 31 NHL teams as well as international tournaments. So if you're a huge hockey fan, consider subscribing and clicking the bell so you don't miss anything. So as I mentioned off the top, this is going to be our second year following the World Junior Championship Tournament. Obviously last year was the first year of the channel. We're just getting underway with the NHL season starting last fall, and we covered the World Junior Championships here last winter. And it was certainly a lot of fun, something I follow quite closely, and it certainly had a pretty good reception here on the channel, so we're certainly going to be doing it again. So certainly stay tuned to the channel for all the latest World Junior Championship action as we approach Boxing Day when the tournament gets underway. We'll be doing game reviews, talking about the tournament and all kinds of stuff here. So stay tuned for all kinds of World Junior Championship coverage as we approach here after Christmas. But for today, we want to do a quick preview here just to kind of show you the groupings of the teams and who's going to be playing who in the early preliminary rounds. We're also going to do a quick preview of many of the teams here and take a look at some of the more notable players that you should see, as well as some of the more notable players that may not make it because they're doing too well in the NHL and might not get released from their NHL teams to participate in this tournament. So let's get started here by taking a look at how the tournament is set up. We've got a 10-team tournament with Group A and Group B, each having 5 teams in each group. Now, Group A is mostly going to play in the Vancouver area, where Group B is going to play in Victoria. So certainly all kinds of great action here. So I'm going to put a graphic up on the screen here, and we'll take a look at each group. So in Group A, we've got Team Canada, Team Russia, Team Czech Republic, Team Switzerland, and Team Denmark. Now, they will be playing, like as I mentioned, in Vancouver, and whereas Group B will play in Victoria, and that features Team USA, Team Finland, Team Sweden, Team Slovakia, and Team Kazakhstan. One of the big matchups you're going to want to pay close attention to is the big New Year's Eve match between Team Canada and Russia going on December 31st. So now let's take a look at some of the more notable players you're going to see featured in this tournament. We're going to kind of go by country here. Now, obviously, some countries are going to have more players featured here than others. But as we get into the tournament, we'll do a full, more in-depth preview closer to tournament time, going through each team a little bit more in-depth. And this is just kind of an overview of kind of some key players to keep your eyes open for. Now let's get started here with Team USA. So I'm going to put a graphic on the screen here, and we'll go through some of the key names for Team USA for the 2019 tournament. Obviously, Team USA is going to be led by the 2019 first-round selection, expected to go #1 overall, Jack Hughes. And, of course, his brother, Quinn Hughes, who was a high draft pick for the Vancouver Canucks in the 2018 draft. The Hughes brothers are going to be very fun to watch. Not only you got one as a forward, one as a defenseman, but they work extremely well together. They're always a highlight reel, always fun to watch, so you'll definitely want to keep a close eye on the Hughes brothers. Team USA is expected to have some pretty decent goaltending as well, highlighted by Caden Primo and Keith Petruzzelli. Those two guys should hold the fort down in net for Team USA and give them an excellent chance to compete every single game. Now, some of these more notable players you're going to watch for our guys drafted here over the last couple of years. We've got Montreal Canadiens prospect Ryan Poehling, Josh Norris, who was originally drafted by San Jose, but of course was included in that big trade to acquire Erik Karlsson. So Josh Norris is now an Ottawa Senators prospect. You got Joel Farabee, drafted in the 2018 draft by the Philadelphia Flyers. Oliver Wahlstrom, who's quite the sniper, a New York Islanders draft pick from last year. And you've also got K-Andre Miller as well on defense. So there's all kinds of great players for Team USA. I fully suspect them to have a tremendous team and certainly have an excellent shot at winning. Now let's jump over here and take a look at some more notable players for Team Canada. Now, Team Canada is going to be led on defense by some 2018 high first-round draft picks, including Evan Bouchard of the Edmonton Oilers, who did see some time with the Oilers this year, was recently returned to junior. Of course, they've also got Noah Dobson, who was a high pick of the New York Islanders and a Memorial Cup champion last year with the Acadie Bathurst Titan. So obviously Dobson and Bouchard will likely be their top 2 defense. Also on the back end, you've got Jarrett McIsaac and Ty Smith, along with Jet Wu. So Team Canada certainly has all kinds of defense there who can certainly be high-profile guys. Also, Jarrett McIsaac, Halifax Moosehead player who was drafted by the Detroit Red Wings, should also likely make the team as well. They will be led in goal by Michael DiPietro, Vancouver Canucks prospect. There's no doubt he more than likely is going to be the starting goaltender for Team Canada. Up front, they're going to be led by guys like Cody Glass, who's a Vegas Golden Knights prospect, along with Nick Suzuki, who was also drafted by Vegas but traded to Montreal in that Max Pacioretty trade. We've also got guys like Alex Formenton of the Ottawa Senators, who's seen action with the NHL team over, in brief periods here over the last 2 seasons, but was recently returned to London to complete his final year junior, along with Max Comtois as well, who saw a fair bit of time with the Anaheim Ducks this year and was recently returned to junior as well. So Comtois and Formanton, certainly as veterans of this team, are going to play a big role up front. They're also going to get Owen Tippett as well, who's certainly going to be in his final year of eligibility. Florida Panthers prospect. Tippett's quite the goal scorer and should play likely in the top 2 lines as well. And of course, we're also going to see Alexis Lafreniere for Team Canada, who's expected to be the top pick in next year's draft. So he's certainly quite young, but is expected to make this team and have a big impact. So certainly a player to keep your eyes open for sure for Team Canada. Now let's jump over and take a look at some of the more notable players for Team Finland. For Team Finland, one of the big names you're going to want to keep your eye on for is Kaapo Kakko, who is expected to give Jack Hughes a big run for his money and be the top draft pick in the 2019 draft. Now, right now, he's not expected to go number 1. That's still held down pretty strong by Jack Hughes, but he's expected to go anywhere, 2 or 3, and it's certainly a very explosive, exciting player to keep your eye on. Now, Team Finland's also going to have some other guys you remember from the 2018 draft, like Rasmus Kupari, for example, play on that team. They will also have some veteran players like Aleksi Heponiemi and Eli Tolvanen, who should be available for this tournament as well. The Christian Vesalainen from the Winnipeg Jets, who was recently went back to Finland after having a brief time in North America this season. Also have Laukkonen, the returning goaltender, who's a Sabres draft pick. So the Finns are certainly going to be a team to keep your eye on as well. I do expect a strong team from Team Finland, and they're certainly going to give the teams in Group B a run for their money. Now let's have a quick peek here at Team Sweden as well. Team Sweden should be led by all-star defenseman Adam Bokvist. Obviously, Bokvist was drafted by the Blackhawks in the first round in 2018 here. He's been playing his junior back over in Canada here in London, Ontario for the London Knights. But Bokvist should be a big-time player for Team Sweden this year. On defense, he's also going to be joined by Vegas Golden Knights prospect Erik Brandstrom and Leafs prospect Timothy Liljegren. So really, as always here, Sweden's going to have a really strong D-core. It's one of the things that they've been putting out a lot of great defensemen here in recent years, and this year's not going to be any different. They're going to be held in goal by Ollie Eriksson-Ek, who's a pretty solid goaltender as well. And up front, they've also got Jonathan Berggren as well, who's a 2018 draft pick. So Berggren, another top player for Sweden. So they've got a lot of good players as well. Certainly a team who's always has a strong showing and expected once again to be a very competitive team at the 2019 tournament. So as I mentioned, we'll have a little bit more in-depth preview for some of the other teams, but a few other names to kind of keep your eye on here as well. Some key forwards for Team Czech Republic. They're going to likely have Filip Zadina, who was a Detroit Red Wings pick in the 2018 draft, along with forwards Martin Necas and Martin Kaut. Necas and Zadina had terrific chemistry last year's tournament and likely going to see the same thing here again. So the Czech Republic team led in goal as well by Jakub Skarek. Likely going to be another team to keep your eye on. Skarek is a terrific goaltender and is likely going to be able to steal some games here. So don't underestimate the Czech Republic team at all. They may not have as many high-profile players, but the high-profile players they do are going to be tremendous and put up some excellent numbers here for the team in the 2019 tournament. Then there's also a couple 2018 high draft picks as well that are going to represent Team Russia during this tournament as well, like Denisenkov and Kravtsov. Those two guys are certainly going to be high-profile players for the Russians as well. Now, I also want to take a quick jump over here and take a look at some notable players who could play in this tournament, but I haven't mentioned yet because they likely won't be released by their NHL teams because they're doing too well, or their teams are they're playing too important of a role with their NHL teams and likely won't make it. So let's take a look at some of these guys. Not to say that they won't be there. I guess we'll know a little bit closer to tournament time if they would be released, because they would definitely be on the team and play a high-profile role if they were. The big one here would obviously be Rasmus Dahlin for Team Sweden, obviously the #1 overall selection in the 2018 draft. The Sabres are doing phenomenal right now. They just finished off a 10-game winning streak. Unfortunately, they lost and it came to an end to Tampa last night. So that winning streak is now over, but still they're one of the top teams in the league, and Dahlin is certainly playing well for them. So I do not expect Rasmus Dahlin to be available for this tournament, although if they decided to make him available, that would be a huge boost for Team Sweden for sure. Now for Team USA, there's Brady Tkachuk, who likely does not get released by the Ottawa Senators. He's having a tremendous rookie season as well. Between him and Dahlin and Elias Pettersson of the Canucks, they're the top 3 rookies in the NHL right now, and I certainly think that Tkachuk has an excellent shot at the Calder Trophy should his play continue. So again, I don't expect Tkachuk to be available for the USA, but again, just like Dahlin, that would be an absolute huge boost for Team USA if he became available. Now there's obviously for Finland, there's Montreal Canadiens center Jesperi Kotkaniemi. He's been playing pretty well for the Habs and playing a bigger role than a lot of people kind of expected. He's been a little bit of a surprise player for them this year, in my opinion, and I don't expect them to release him to go to Team Finland, but you never know. He would be a tremendous boost for them as well. For Team Canada, you've got Michael Rasmussen of the Detroit Red Wings, as well as Robert Thomas of the St. Louis Blues. I don't expect them to be released by their NHL clubs. However, if either were to be released, I'm sure Team Canada would take them with open arms, and they'd likely be able to play a fairly big role for Team Canada. Then, of course, for Russia, you've got Carolina Hurricanes forward Andrei Svechnikov. Now, Svechnikov's rookie season started a little bit slower than many people might have thought. He's not having a high-profile rookie season like some of his counterparts here, but I still think he's playing enough for Carolina, and Carolina's still in the mix with the playoffs and everything, that I do think that they're likely not going to release him for this. Depending on how things go over the next few weeks, if the Hurricanes are not doing well at all and they're falling deeper out of the playoffs, then certainly a possibility, would be a good boost for Svechnikov to go play in this tournament and have a chance to play a bigger role. So that is your 2019 World Junior Championship early preview. Now, of course, as I mentioned here, over the next 3 to 4 weeks before this tournament gets underway, we'll be doing further updates once we have a better idea on exactly what players are going to be going. This was just a quick look at some of the top names to expect and keep your eyes open for in this tournament. Once the rosters are settled closer to tournament time, we'll be doing a full, more in-depth preview, going over each country's roster here a little bit more in depth and kind of preparing you for this tournament. So, again, stay tuned for plenty more coverage of the 2019 World Junior Championships as the tournament gets underway, Boxing Day, December 26th. If you're new to the channel here, I hope you consider subscribing. We cover all 31 NHL teams, and there's plenty of content here for all hockey fans to enjoy. So if you're new, hit that subscribe button. Please give this video a thumbs up before you go as well. I'd appreciate it if you did. As always, thank you very much for watching, everybody. We will catch you next time.